Hi everyone, and welcome to Learning Media Skills. And today we're going to be taking a look at DaVinci Resolve, one of the best video editors out there. And specifically today we're going to be taking a look at how DaVinci Resolve works with audio. These are some of the tips that I wished I would have known when I first switched to DaVinci Resolve. It would have saved me hours of struggling trying to figure out how DaVinci works with audio. And so if you are just migrating to DaVinci and you're wondering how it handles certain audio issues, and how to best work with audio in the program, then you've come to the right tutorial. We're going to show you 6 or 7 wonderful tips that will help save you hours of frustration. Let's start a new timeline here. Let's go up to File and New Timeline, and we'll call it Audio Tips. And let's bring in some media here that has some wind noise and different challenges, and we'll work through them together. Let's go to the talent, and let's see. I think this one has some issues. Let's bring this down. Right away, you notice that the camera that captured this was recording 4 tracks of audio. And none of these tracks are the real lapel mic that we'll be working with, and so we really don't need any of them. We'll need to keep one of these tracks in order to sync up our good audio track, but we certainly don't need 4 tracks of audio. How do we get rid of all of this audio that we don't need? Well, there's a couple different ways you can do that. Holding down the Option key on the Mac and its counterpart on the PC, you can then select any track, either video or audio, and it will isolate those tracks from the others. If we didn't hold down the Option key and we clicked on any one of these, it would select all of the audio and video. But what we want to do is just get rid of the lower 3 audio tracks. So by holding down the Option key and lassoing those, we can select them and then just hit the Delete key and they're gone. So we're just left with the one audio track that we will need in order to sync up the good audio. Let's go after that audio clip and drop it in. And just like any other video editor, we can expand out any of the tracks just by grabbing the lower line there, opening these up a little bit so we can see our clap. And this first clip here, I think, was just a setup. So let's cut that and just bring this over. We can see the clap there with the big spike. And what I like to do is just expand the timeline out to its maximum when I'm lining these up and syncing them up. And once we have them synced up like that, we can get rid of the onboard mic. I like to expand this out again while I'm doing this. Just make a cut and lift the good audio up to replace the on-camera mic. And let's get rid of this. And now we have just one track of audio that is coming from the lapel mic.
And welcome to our series of programs on the various types of work.
All right, first thing we notice is that the audio that we recorded with the lapel mic is only coming in on one channel, the left channel, and we want to fill up both the left and the right channels. Now you should know whenever you start a new timeline, by default, the audio tracks that come in are going to be stereo tracks. And so in order to fill this audio over to the right channel as well, all we need to do is change it from a stereo track over to a mono track. And you can do that just by coming over to this audio panel, right click on it, and there's an option there, Change Track Type to, and we'll select mono. And now this whole track, and we should probably title it Lapel Mic, is going to be filling both tracks.
That Adra does, and the passion that we bring into the work.
And so that solves that. If you've got audio that's only been recorded to one track, the left or the right, and you want to fill that out, just change it from a stereo track to a mono track, and that takes care of that. Let's bring in some music, and we'll just grab any one of these for the purposes of our demonstration here. And how do we adjust the volume? DaVinci Resolve handles this very similar to most other video editors. You can see that there's a little subtle white line there just above the middle of the track. Well, if we want to bring the whole track down, just bring your mouse cursor so that it shows the up and down arrow there. Click down with your left mouse button and just drag the whole thing down, and that reduces the volume of the whole clip. If you want to just affect certain parts of the audio clip, you can add keyframes, and the way Resolve handles that is by holding down your Option key and again clicking on that little white line. When your cursor has the up and down arrow, you know you're in the right zone there. Just click and that adds a keyframe. So if you want to just affect a certain area there, put in your keyframes, and now when you drag down this middle one, you're only bringing down the volume in that area. So that's how DaVinci handles keyframes. Hold your Option key down before you click on the audio line. Let's bring in some B-roll and see what issues we might have there. I'll just grab any one of these clips, and when we drop it down on video 2, we see that the audio is going to automatically go to audio 2, and that's where we have our music track. And so how are we going to deal with that? We don't want our ambient audio replacing our music track. Well, like most video editors, you can lock up a track so that it can't be affected. And you can do that with just the little lock button there. And now when we bring down a B-roll clip and place it on video line 2, it's not going to replace audio on the audio 2 track. It's placed all of the audio down below that. 4 tracks of audio again. And you might get a project that has this little problem. It has 4 tracks of camera audio, and every time you go to bring in some B-roll, it brings in all of this audio that you don't need, and it's probably filled with wind noise, and what are you going to do? And a lot of times, these 4 audio tracks, the top one might be fairly decent. It may have been recorded by an onboard professional mic with a windscreen on it. But all of the rest of the audio tracks are probably just reference audio coming from the onboard mic of the camera. And so what are you going to do with all of these tracks? You really don't want to be having to delete 3 tracks of audio every time you bring down some B-roll, right? You could do it the way I showed you a minute ago, just by holding the Option key down and grabbing all of those 3 tracks of audio, hitting the delete key, and it's gone. And that leaves you with just the top line of audio that may have been captured with a decent mic, but you really don't want to have to do that for every little clip that you bring in. Well, here's the workaround for that. If you know that all of your B-roll has the same situation with 4 tracks of audio, 3 that you don't need, what you can do is go to your B-roll bin, select all of the clips, hit Control A, and then just right-click on any one of them and look for an option called Clip Attributes. And there you have options where you can manipulate the video as well as the audio. And when you click to audio, you see all 4 tracks represented there. And the lovely thing about this is that you also have some trash cans here. So it's just a matter of hitting the trash can for those 3 audio lines that you don't want. Just leave yourself with the 1 track that we're hoping is coming from a good mic. Hit OK, and now all of them have only the 1 track. Grab a few here to show that, and just drag them down to the timeline and open this up, and we see, yeah, it's only 1 track, only the top track. No longer have the 3 that we don't need. Okay, so that's helpful, and probably a good thing to do at this point is to name this track Ambient. And we'll probably at the same time want to change this to be a mono track so that the ambient audio from the onboard good mic is going to fill both the left and the right tracks. All right, just a couple more things we'll show you here as it relates to audio. Let's grab this clip again and take a closer look at it. This is the onboard camera mic. I believe it was a Rode mic and didn't have the best windscreen on it. So as we play it, we can see that there is a lot of wind noise. what can we do with that? We have an option to get rid of not only wind noise, but all other noise that may be in the background of your interview. You might be out on the street with lots of crowd noise, or you may be having to deal with a jackhammer or whatever the case may be. Well, you can do what's called voice isolation. And how you can access that is up here in our inspector window. We'll change it from video to audio, and you'll see one of your options is voice isolation. And just have that on. And now, when we play that section, we won't hear anything, because all it's looking for is the voice of the talent. And this will work even better when you're working with your professional audio track, where there may have been better separation from the talent and the background noise. But I couldn't find any wind noise on the lapel audio, so I had to use this other track to show you how that works. But keep that in mind. You can really do wonderful things with this voice isolation tool here. One other thing I'll show you, and that is how to deal with fan noise, or noise that may be coming from an air conditioner that is very constant.
The crisis and empowering local workers.
We don't really have any AC noise to isolate here and get rid of, but let's show you how to do it in case you do have that. Let's go over to the Fairlight page. Just click on that, and we'll see all of our audio tracks showing up here. And so select the track that you're wanting to deal with, in this case the lapel mic, and so that's track A1. Let's go over to the mixer here and click on Effects. Under A1, click on Effects and go down to Restoration. We'll see there's another pop-out menu, and what we want to do is go to Fairlight Effects and choose Dehummer if you've got a hum in your track from a bad cable, or Noise Reduction. Experiment with those to reduce a constant background noise that you want to eliminate. And lots of tools there for you to adjust to help you find the perfect balance between eliminating the background noise and maintaining good audio. And just one last audio tip here. If you want to do some EQing, again, select the track that you want to work with, find it over here, and go into EQ. Just double click on the EQ there for that track. And now you have all of your basic EQing tools. Maybe you want to turn on band 1 and band 6. And then let's turn on our equalizer, and by hitting the space bar, we can play the audio, hear it, and make real-time adjustments while we're listening to the audio to see if we can't get it a little bit brighter or cleaner. These are just the regular equalizer tools that you're probably familiar with from other programs.
Sometimes the disaster strikes suddenly, and the reports of deaths from the earthquake, volcano, tsunami, flood, wildfire, or cyclone attract the attention of global news outlets. And of course, ADRA quickly moves into action to save lives with emergency...
Well, the Sennheiser lapel mic is already doing such a great job. It's hard to improve on it. But not all mics are as good as this, and so you might find it very helpful to jump into the equalizer tool and make your audio, remove some of the bass or make it brighter so that it's more audible. All right, well, those were the tips that I wanted to show you for today. I hope you found them helpful. If so, go ahead and give the video a like. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. And we'll see you next time here at Learning Media Skills. So long for today.